Hello there and welcome to this video which I've called Don't Judge a Book by Its Cover. A story, a true story about integrity and what integrity means. I don't know how long this video is going to last because I'm just talking and just telling the story, but I sincerely hope that you will stick with this video to the end because there are two extremely, I think, important messages that I want to put across. One about integrity and what integrity is, and the other message I'll leave to the end as a hook if you like, but it's a very, very important message and I hope you'll see this video to the end. This story that I'm about to tell you is a real true life story. I do what's called real-time talking, which means I'm talking about real time, about my life, about what's happening to me and to other people and to the world around me as I live my life. It's real time talking as it is about real life. And this story is real time talking. As I've said, it happened to me. I experienced this just in the past week. And I want to share it with you because it humbled me, and I hope that it's going to mean just something to you. That's why I'm sat here now, passing the time of day with you. So I sincerely hope that you're going to stick with me. I'm going to give you some background, really, around what happened leading up to the event that I'm going to tell you, the story that I'm going to tell you. So the company that I work for have just bought a large store in central London, in a very affluent place. And I mean, this place has got all the different types of demographics of people, students, young people, old people, rich, poor, etc. But there's a lot of very affluent people in this area. It's a very well-to-do area, a nice part of London. When I knew that we were going to be purchasing this store, I was visiting the store secretly to observe what was happening in the store and just to see, who the people were and what the store was all about. So when we actually purchased the store, I'm going in there a bit, ready for action, if you like. So I spent quite a lot of time there. And one of the things that I noticed on all of my visits, that there was what we would call, and this is real time talking, we would call a beggar or a tramp, was outside. The same person, the same guy outside the front of the store every single day. And I mean, he was stood right in the doorway. And I looked at that and that kind of bothered me a little bit because I know that for one thing, my wife would feel a little bit intimidated by approaching a store that had someone that was approaching her for money, if you like. A barrier for customers to get into the store. I researched the store a little bit on Wikipedia, and there was a comment on there that said, what a fantastic store this is once you get past the friendly beggar out the front of the store. And I knew that we'd have to do something with regards to that beggar person. Spoke to my boss, who I work directly for, and said, what do you think? And he said, well, that person's got to go. But as it turns out, it's a very delicate and difficult situation to deal with, because whilst you control a certain part of the pavement, if you like, outside of the store, you don't control all of it. So you can't force someone not to beg in the street of London, or I don't think you can. So I had to sort of try and deal with this problem, and I thought, well, the best thing to do is actually go and talk to the person. So people in the store knew his name. In fact, a lot of the customers know this guy. I'm going to call him John. That's not his name, but I haven't asked his permission to talk about him on this video, so I have to show him respect. And I probably will share his name with you because I know that he will have no problem with me sharing that name with you, his name with you, but for now it's John. And so I asked people in the store, what's that guy's name out the front? They said it's John. Now, there's a lot of customers that are supporting John. They look after him. They take him to the dentist. They take him to the doctors. They got his COVID jab. They found him a room to stay in. And so I went out the front, went up to the guy, And he'd noticed me because by then we'd taken over the store. So sorry, I knew about him when we were thinking about taking over the store. Once we were in the process of buying the store, and once we'd bought the store, I went out to talk to him, and he'd seen me flitting about and talking to people and knew that I was attached to the store. And when I went out there and said, "Hello, John," he looked at me and said, "Well, what have I done, sir?" You know, that's how he addressed me. "What have I done, sir?" Very concerned. And I said, "I just wondered if you'd like to go and have a cup of coffee." So we went over the road, went to Costa, sat down, had a cup of coffee and had a chat about things. And just to shoot the breeze, if you like, and just get to know each other. And I found out a little bit about him. And in fact, yes, he does base himself outside of the store. And I kind of really like this guy. I found out I'm 59 years old. I found out this guy is 58 years old. I can tell you that in my life, I live at this moment in my life just a blissful life. Everything that I ever wanted for myself has come true. I am extremely happy. I am married to the most beautiful woman on the inside and the most beautiful woman on the outside. She's given me 4 beautiful kids. I live in a fantastic house in a really nice place. I've got a wonderful grandchild. I've got a dog. I've got the job that I do, the work that I do, I love. I love doing my speaking. I love doing that too. I'm in a sweet spot in my life. We all go through tough times, and I've been through some tough times. That's why I speak. But I'm at a sweet spot in my life where I've just got an abundance of happiness, an abundance of everything that I ever wanted. And I look at this guy, and this guy hasn't got anything. He's a beggar on the street, 1 year younger than me. And I'm telling you, if circumstances had been any different for me, that could well have been me. And it just got to me that I got so much and this guy has got so little. And I shared it in a previous video. I said to him, I talk about happiness, and I said to him, how happy are you out of 10? Because he appears to be quite happy. Do you know what I mean? But he said, well, really, he said, I know I look happy, but my happiness, you know, on average is about 3, which we both agreed wasn't very high. And he said, there's things going wrong in my life, but I just try to give that, you know, that thing about I'm happy and I'm okay. He's got dreams. He wants to become a counsellor to help people that have gone through what he's gone through. And he's gone through drug addiction. He's gone through a really shit life. And he's trying desperately to pick himself up and get himself to college this September so that he can become a counsellor in some shape or form. He wants to transform. He wants to change his life, and that's what he's working to do. Now, we spoke about the fact that he stood right in the doorway, and I said to him, look, you know, John, he stood right in that doorway there. Some customers approaching can be, and I stopped from what I was saying because how do I say this? And he just butted in. He said, I'm a bit intimidating, aren't I? And I said, you are, aren't you? And I said, look, can we do a deal? I said, I want to help you in your life. I really want to help you, and I'm going to see if I can do something to help you to transform your life. But can you work with me? Can you stick to this kind of side of the pavement? It's not far from the door, but it's not right in the doorway. If you can do that for me, I'm happy. And we can work together going forward. And if you can trust me and I can trust you, we can work together and we can try and work on you to try to get you to a happier place in your life. And that's what we agreed. And that was, it's the background that I want to share with you. Now, it so happened it was a Wednesday, and it was a Tuesday night, and we were about to take over this store. And because we were taking over the store, we had to do a stock take, and the stock take was being done overnight so that we had a value to pay for the products that were in the store from the person that the company was buying it from. And one of our other store managers was coming up to help take stock, and so I wasn't involved in the stock take over the night, but I was staying overnight in a hotel, which is just about 50 yards from the store. So it's about 6:30 at night, and I'm just going to go back to the hotel for the evening. I had to be back there at 5 o'clock in the morning, but I'm going back to the hotel. I'm probably going to pop out, and I'm going to have a nice bite to eat, get to bed, get up early and do the job. And as I came out of the store, John is sat outside of the store begging. And we had a chat, a nice chat. And I just said, well, I'll see you later then, John. See you later, Dave. And off I went. The thing was, I couldn't get to sleep that night. I don't know why, but I just couldn't get to sleep. So I'm in this hotel room. And the thing about this, it's the timing. It's the timing. Some things in life are just meant to happen. They happen for a reason. And just think about the timing as I'm telling you this. It's like, I'm laid in bed, I think, like 9 o'clock, right, I'm going to get some sleep. I want to get a good sleep in, get up early, getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I fell asleep for about an hour and a half. I woke up and I couldn't get back to sleep. Just couldn't get back to sleep. Don't know why, but I just couldn't. For some reason, I couldn't get back to sleep. And it was really hot, wasn't it? It was really hot recently, and I was just laid in this room. There was a fan there for me to put on, but I didn't realise it was there, and I hadn't put it on. So my body, I think that's why I woke up, just wanted to explode, man. It was really, really, when you're really, really hot, feel like you're roasting. And because of COVID and that, there wasn't much in the hotel and I didn't get any water, so I didn't really have much to drink. And I'm laid there burning. But I'm too tired to get out of bed to do something about it, because I could have gone down in the street and got myself a drink. And I just couldn't do it. And then I'm thinking, do you know what? I could have a shower. I'll get up and have a cold shower. It's going to revitalise me. And then I can go out and get a drink. And then I feel better and get back to sleep. Think about the timing. I laid there for must have been a good hour. You ever done that? Laid there, you just can't get up, but I just can't move. Eventually, I got my sorry ass out of the bed, went to the shower, had a cold shower, felt a little bit better. Think of the timing. And then I went down to the street. Now, I thought to myself, the shop's only 50 yards down the road, and one of my store managers is going to go into this store just to help. So maybe I'll go down, see if I can see him, just have a quick chat. And so I walked down to the store, and I'm looking in the window. For some reason, I turned to the left, and by then, it's 12:30 at night. 12:30 at night. Think of the timing. I turned around, and who do I see? I see John the beggar, John the tramp, is walking up the street, central London, walking up the street towards me. I said, what are you doing out in the street this time of night then? There's no one to beg from. And he said, well, the thing is, now this is the thing that, think of the timing though. What made me lay in bed for so long before I got a shower? What made me walk to the store? What made me turn around at the point of time I did? What made him get to where he was in the street at the time he got in that street to turn around and look at me? Weird. Anyway, he said, the thing is, he said, a lady just around the road pays me to put her bins out for her in the morning. And now and again, I might clean them for her. I mean, she pays me in advance. Now, this is the thing that really boomed me. This is the thing about integrity. This is what integrity is. From someone who's down and out, someone who ain't got nothing in their life, this is what integrity is. He said to me, the thing is, this lady's paid me to take the bins and put the bins out, and it's bin day tomorrow. I get myself home, I said, I'm laying down, and I just realised I forgot to put her bins out. So I've come back in to pull her bins out at 12:30 at night. Now, my definition of integrity, the definition that I use, is doing the right thing when no one is looking. Integrity is keeping your word, doing what you say you're going to do, being where you say you're going to be at the time you're going to be there. That's integrity in my book. So I said, well, why don't you just do it in the morning? He said, well, just in case I don't get there. I just had to get here. She's paid me. I don't want to let her down. So I've come back in to, pull the bins forward. I said, well, how are you going to get home tonight then? He said, well, I guess I'm going to have to do a bit of begging to get enough money to get the tube home. And as I couldn't sleep, I said, don't worry about getting yourself home. I'll get my car. So I had my keys to my car, was in the hotel room. He had to go past the hotel to turn left and go down the road to pull the bins out. And I said, meet me on the corner because I'm going to give you a lift home. So he went off to do the bins. I went off to get the keys. I came back. He wasn't there. So I thought, well, what's he doing? Maybe I'll go and get the car, which I did because I parked the car at the back of the store. Got the car, came back, and there he was, stood waiting for me on the side of the street. And so I gave him a lift home. It turns out, funny thing was, he goes, I live in Edgware. So I went to Edgware, and I got it wrong. I thought he said Edgware, something Edgware, and I just drove there. And we get Edgware because I don't live here. So we'd gone 6 miles in the wrong direction. So now I had to drive 6 miles back, and he actually lives 7 miles away from where we started. So it was a good old time driving around with him, and he lived in a place called Burnt Oak in London, in a room that was found for him by some of the local people. And it was miles away. And we were talking in the car, and he told me all about his life and what had gone wrong and what his hopes and his dreams were for the future. And I was amazed. I was blown away. He thanked me and said, look, I'm just thanking you for just giving me a lift. I said, look, I'm thanking you because it's a privilege, a real privilege. And it was a real privilege to give that gentleman a lift home. Because here's the thing, that lady who's paid him to pull her bins out got up the next day, looked out the window and thought to herself, oh, Andrew, giving his name away, John has pulled the bins out. And she wouldn't know the story about what happened in the middle of the night with him getting himself on a tube to no money, nothing, to get back to where he'd started on that evening to pull the bins out for her, and then possibly having to have begged to get himself home, or he would have had to sleep rough on the streets because he didn't get the money to get himself home. And she would have never known that. It was a story that would never have been told and never would have been known by that woman. And so I'm telling this story to honour John, to honour his integrity, because I'm telling you and I'm looking you in the eyes, there are many people out there, and you might be one of them, because I think I might have been one of them that might have said, well, bollocks to that, I ain't going out there now. I might get there early tomorrow and pull the bins out, but I'm not going now. That bloke, with nothing, with no money, he got himself up and he got himself back to do the job because that's what he said he was going to do. And that's integrity. If you think you're a person of integrity, are you really doing in every aspect of your life, not just in your home life or your business life, because you're one person, and work and a social life, home life, it's all one thing. Do you do the right thing? Because that's integrity. Do you do the right thing when no one's looking? Because that's real integrity. And if you want to live a happy life, if you want to get somewhere in your life, you want to be respected, you want to have great relationships, you better be doing the right thing and you better be operating with integrity. That's just some advice from me. The other thing I want to share with you is I was talking to him a couple of evenings ago. And we were on the journey we shared in the car. I was talking to him and saying about, you could write a book, man, about you, about what you've gone through, what your experiences are. This is a man with not as much education as I've got, and I ain't got a lot. I've got no letters after my name. But he talks with more intellect than I do, and he talks from a real place, from the streets, from a real place, with soul, because you ain't got soul until you've been through some shit, and I know that because I've been through some, and I've got some soul myself. Anyway, we sat there and I'm talking to him, and it was quite funny because we sat there on a pavement, and I sat on a chair, but pavement. I sit next to him, and we're talking, and he goes, you ruin it for me, mate. You ruin it for me. I says, why? He says, they may think we're just two businessmen sat here. No one's giving me any money because you sat here with me. I went, oh, sorry about that. And joking, I said, oh, do you want me to slap you around a bit, to make you look a bit dishevelled and that, and then you get a bit more money, And we were laughing, and we started talking, and I said about his book, and he said, yeah, I do want to write a book. He said, the thing is, I can't sit here and write a book. I said, why not? He said, because if I'm sat here with a bit of paper and a pen and I'm actually sort of trying to write a book, people think I'm a business person and they won't give me any money. And I said to him, here's the thing. I said, if you were to write a book, I said, what would the message be in your book? And John thought about it for a couple of minutes, and then he said, don't judge a book by its cover. And I thought, that's your message, man. That's got to be the title of your book. Picture of you on the cover. Don't judge a book by its cover, with a picture of you on it, and tell your story, I said, and people will buy your book because you have got some stuff to share. And so I just wanted to share the story with you in the hope that these two messages operate with true integrity in your life if you want to get somewhere and be happy in your life. I want to share that with you. I want to share the fact that none of us should judge anyone on their appearance. Don't judge a book by its cover, because there are more to people than we know. People that are smiling may have smiling depression and may have stuff that's going wrong in their life. People that you don't think have got anything to offer have got so much experience or skills that you could use in your business or help you in your life. You certainly wouldn't want to be judged on the first meet and the first impression that you might give. Don't do it to anyone else. And the third reason why I'm telling this is that I just want to share that story about a tramp, about a beggar, about someone who's got nothing, but he's got class and he's got integrity. About someone who's got nothing but is going to go and get something in his life, because what you put out into life comes back to you. Who you hang with, you become. He may have hung around with some of the bad people, the wrong people in his life, and became one of them. He's now trying to change his life, and I'm going to help him. And I just want to tell this story because now you know that some guy who had nothing got out of his bed, travelled across London to honour a lady and do a job that she paid him to do. That's all I want to do in this video, is to share these messages with you, because there's something very serious about these messages for how we treat ourselves, how we treat other people. And I hope in some way it can help or inspire you. I will be talking about John in future videos because I've got big plans to help him. And I truly think we could. And I might try and ask for your help. Just as one person to another. I have known John for less than 2 weeks, but now I'm committed to helping him. Because the thing about begging, it kind of can come across quite kind of romantic, especially in the hot weather that we've just had. Everyone's chilling out on the pavement and it's warm and a gentle breeze is blowing and it's just a bit of begging, and it's can seem quite filmy, quite romantic. But here's the kicker. What happens when the cold comes? What happens when the freezing, biting cold weather comes? What happens when it's raining? What happens on those days when you can't get enough money to pay for your room? And if you can't pay for your room, you find yourself back where you just come from, the streets. So that's my mission in life. Someone told me once I'm a blessed person and I've been put on this planet to do something special. Maybe the one thing, the most important thing. Bear in mind about 4 fantastic kids, the great things that I've done for this world by putting 4 fantastic people in the planet. but maybe one of the things that I'm destined to do in my life is just to help one other person. And maybe that one other person is John. So I may have found another reason, another why for doing what I do. Be safe, stay happy, because as we keep saying, if you're not happy, what's the bloody point of anything? This is real-time talking. This is coming from the heart. This is a real story. I'm keeping on talking. It's 25 minutes I've been talking, warbling on, because it's something that I feel very passionate about now. Thanks for listening. Take care. Goodbye.